Hello, welcome to Papercrafting Playdate. My name is Robin Armbrecht at Really Robin Stamps. Thank you for joining me. We're going to hang out for a little bit and we are going to work on a new fun fold. It's new to me. It isn't really new. I've been seeing this design around and I couldn't wait to try it and share it with you. So it is called a triple panel Z fold and it's nice and easy. Packs a great punch. So this is episode 161 of Papercrafting Playdate, and in actual real time it is October 17th 2025 today. So I'm glad you're joining me. If you are watching this live, chat with your friends while we craft together. If you are watching this on the replay, doesn't matter, still need you to chat with me in the comments. Tell me what you're up to, what you're working on, and let's get started. So let's also take a look at some beautiful creations that have been sent my way. I love to share everything that I get in the mail. And here's a cute little Halloween card. This is from Wanda and her husband. She creates these fun little seasonal cards. Just about every month they send out cards. They have a very faithful card ministry. Look how cute this little ghost is on roller skates. I love it. He's not scary. And this is from one of my downline, Mimi. And this card blew my mind. Okay, so I'm going to hold it here and maybe you can see. This is one of the cards where you really kind of need to see it up close and see the texture. She created the collar of like a jacket using this woven material. She's got a pocket, which you can't really see, has been created out of a stitched die and then cut off. And then she's used that velvet flocked paper that is new right now, and made this cute little handkerchief to go in the pocket and a little brooch. I think this is so incredibly clever. This is also that velvet paper. I don't know if you can kind of see how it's a little bit thicker and textured. Wow, this is a real wow, Mimi. Love this. And then she put just a whole piece of designer series paper on the inside. I love it. Sandra's working on a wrap-up box for chocolate bars. That sounds wonderful. Oh no, Becky Kelly's FedEx man went off the road and needs help. Wow, we are in live time. Okay, thank you, Mimi. This is gorgeous. Another beautiful card, screaming fall to me. This is from Deanna. She was sharing one of her creations with me. I love all the texture and layers. Beautiful use of shapes and design. Layout is beautiful. I love it. This looks like mossy meadow, an early espresso, a little bit of old olive stamping. It's beautiful. Nice and fall. And here's a very sweet Halloween card. And it's a step card. Let's see, I'll show it like this. So it stands up like this on your desk. It's a great display card. I've never made these on the paper Playdate yet, and I need to because this is a fun fold that has so many different designs, different styles. It's really fun. I love this. This is from Linda. Have a spooky day. Hope you have a spooky day too. Look how these in color dots go with this beautiful Halloween color combo. I love that. Beautiful, Linda. I had to show you one of my cards came, and I forget which one. It might be this one since it was sitting on top of there. Actually, this one's not for Mimi. Hold on, I'm confused. This one's for Mimi. Now this one didn't sign it. Now I'm remembering. If you made this card, leave your name in the comments. Kathy, maybe that one's from Kathy. I think it's from Kathy. I'm so sorry. It's amazing. Anyway, I saved this because I can reuse this. This is just like a little piece that was inserted into the envelope to help keep the card protected, and it's that shimmery paper and blended with ink so beautifully. I have to keep that and put it in the little box of scraps to use, right? You never know when you're going to need something like that. Love the leaves layered on. This is from Anne. It's a beautiful fall card. Just love it. Classically beautiful. This is why I thought that was for Mimi, because she gave me this one. And this is a card that we did a few Papercrafting Playdates ago. It was a pop-out something panel card just a few weeks ago. What I love about this is that she embossed in white embossing on this textured print, and so it looks so interesting. Like, it just changed the whole look. It turned it into like this 3D paper. And I've had a hard time using this textured paper, so this makes me really happy because I've gotten 2 ideas this week in the mail for how to use this. I love the little leaves going down there. It's just beautiful. And then this is from Sarah. She sent me some little treats in the mail and colored this beautiful little winter scene. So cute. I love the tree. With your shading, looks so beautiful. All right, thank you so much for these cards. Oh, see, this is the thing with Mimi. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Mimi always tries to copy something from the fashion world. So she looks in magazines and things, and when she sees something, then she tries to copy it with her stamps and her paper. She's very artistic. Okay, last little bit of news. I shared this with last week. This is my reward this week for placing an order with me. Did I say this week, this month? The month of October. We're going to do Peaceful Garden. Designer Series paper. You're going to get 1 4x6 piece of all the designs. And then a piece of coordinating cardstock, 6 pieces of cardstock, so you can very easily put together 6 cards, and then some coordinating embellishments. So when you spend $50 or more with me throughout the month of October, I'm going to mail this to you once the month is all over. So that's how you get rewarded when you choose me as your demonstrator. Okay, now I'm going to stand up and we're going to get started. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to go ahead and start with this suite of products since I just showed you. And the first card design that we're going to use is from the Peaceful Garden suite. So there's cardstock, a bundle, an embossing folder, ribbon, embellishments, and some glimmer paper. We're not going to use every element of the suite, but we're going to use some of it. So this is the mini catalog that is current right now, September to December. You can still get this catalog from me if you'd like. So we're going to start with 1 whole sheet of 8.5 by 11 to put together the triple panel Z fold. So I'm going to put the measurements out here, but I'm also going to show you how to cut this from a whole sheet of paper. Yes, Pamela, the white embossing on the colored Designer Series paper that Mimi did look so fabulous. All right, so we need 2 pieces that are 7 1/4 inch long. So we're going to make that cut first. So I'm going to measure 7 1/4. And we'll save this piece. So now we need a card base. So I'm going to cut that at 5 1/2. This is going to be the card base. And then we need a piece that's 4 1/2 by 7 1/4. This is going to get cut apart to make the panels that are the Z. And so we pretty much use a whole sheet of 8.5 by 11. These are the pieces that are left over. Before I put the paper cutter away, we're going to go ahead and score both of these, and they get scored exactly the same. So I'm measuring at 1.5 and 3. Okay, this was the 5.5 by 7 1/4. This is the 4.5 by 7 1/4. We're going to measure and score at 1.5 and 3 inches. Okay, so they're scored in exactly the same place. They're the exact same width. The 5.5 one is the card base. This one is going to be the Z-fold. So we're going to actually turn this, and we're going to cut this into 1.5 inch strips. So I'm measuring at 1.5 twice. And that's going to give me 3 1.5 strips. Now the reason we started with the whole sheet is so that we could do that scoring. You could go ahead and cut the strips and then score them, but this way, if you score them first, you know that the score lines are going to be absolutely even. Hi, Faye. If you scored them separately, chances are you might just get off a little bit, and that will change, you know, how the card folds together. But you can do it that way. All right, so here are our pieces. So a Z-fold, let's just review for a quick second. A Z-fold has one accordion fold that folds back, and usually it's the front. Maybe always it's the front, I'm not sure. I'm just folding my lines. This is Secret C, by the way. So the actual card front of this little card base is just this tiny little piece, okay? And so in a Z fold, it folds back on the front. This is the inside and the back of the card. And so on a regular Z fold, when you look at it from the bottom, you've kind of got that Z shape. That's why it's called that. So what we're going to do is attach these strips as panels. And these are going to be our Z-fold attachments. So I'm just folding them the same way, accordion folding them. Okay, so you just have to do one this way, one that way. And they actually, let's just look at this from the bottom again, okay? If you want to just make sure you're doing it right, put them all the same way. Okay, so all our Z's are going the same way. Just this, if you have trouble with spatial, sometimes it gets tricky, right? All right, so this is our card base. These are all going the same way. Whatever we're going to attach to our Z fold, we're going to flip it, okay? So I'm just going to turn all of these around, and these get flipped. And then these are going to rest on top and get attached in 2 places. Okay, so that's our 3 panels, the triple panel. And it's a Z fold because these are opposite Z's, okay? Okay, so remember that these are the same width, so they're going to attach end to end like this. And I realize the Secret C is a little bit hard to see the score lines on there. We'll zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so we've got our little front here, and we've got these on the opposite side. It's exactly the same like this, but we're going to put it on the opposite side. So I'm going to do this end first. I'll just attach some glue, and then I'm going to make it completely even with the bottom edge of the card. And I'm just going to make sure it's straightened out. and even. Then we're going to do the top. And we'll straighten that out. I want to make sure it's even with the edge. Okay, so now we've got the top and the bottom attached. And then we just have to put this one in the middle. And if you like to be precise, you can use a ruler, and there is about a 1/2 inch exactly in between. The spaces in between the strips are a 1/2 inch. You know what I love about the world of card making? I mean, so many things. But what I really love is that you can be a stamper, card maker, whatever you want to call yourself, for years and years and years. And there's still things that are new, like this. I've never done this particular fold before. I find that just lovely. Okay, so we've got them attached on this side, and now we need to attach on this side. I like to flip mine over and then just put that this way, and that way I know exactly how much adhesive I'm going to put on this end instead of trying to guess or just trying to guess over here. I'm going to fold that down. I'm also going to flip it over and then make sure again that I've got it flush right up against the corner on the top and the bottom. And then make sure there's that 1/2 inch in between. Because of when you get this one already attached, adhered, there's not going to be too much wiggle room over here. Okay, so let's turn that back around. And so the front of your card is where these 3 larger stripes are. And so I'm going to reinforce those 4 lines. And then the place where you write is going to be on the back, or your message, but it's a great little display card, and that's how it looks when it stands up. So it has this nice little Z-fold action. It's pretty cool. Hi, Sarah. All right, so now we're going to decorate it. So let's bring this back in. So here's our 2 pieces. We scored them. We cut that one into strips. And now this is what we use to decorate it. So we need 3 pieces to go on these strips here. And so again, I'm using the Peaceful Sea Designer Series paper. And so I cut them 4 inches by 1 1/4 so that there would be a little border of the Secret Sea cardstock all the way around my Designer Series paper. And then on this side, there are 6 squares that are created by those folds. And so we're going to fill those 6 squares with 1 1/4 inch Designer Series paper. So I picked a coordinating pattern just to keep it fun, but you could do the same. You could do whatever you wanted. There's so many possibilities. All right, so let's glue this on real fast. I'm going to try to read the comments. It does look like a mini building. Yes, I love that. The great thing about this is you can put really any size focal point or message or stamped image on the front of this card. You basically have the whole card front with these beautiful like strips going across, so it's a nice backdrop for whatever you want to put on your card. The front looks like a capital E. It does. Ooh, that makes me think if I need to make an Elizabeth card for my daughter. So even though the Peaceful Garden Designer Series paper is part of a suite that is kind of holiday focused, it really has a lot of versatility to it. I think I've mentioned this before. That's one of my favorites. Like this, I feel like is just a fall card with the leaves. Looks really pretty to me. Hello, Marvia. Marvia. How am I saying that right? Hey, Polly. Polly loves the name Peaceful Garden. I love that too. I've done a little homework with this bundle. So here is the stamp set, which is just greetings. So you could just get this stamp set if you needed just some nice, little bit holiday, little bit sympathy. Then the dies, if you want to bundle it with the dies, have the label, the double label, the doves, all this little greenery here. And then there is an embossing folder that coordinates with it that has, it cuts out. So you can attach these dies to the embossing folder and it'll cut out your center if you want it to, or you can just have a nice framed embossing folder. So I feel like this, initially this bundle or this suite isn't as shiny as some of the other ones, but I feel like this has a lot to do it. I've never had doves before in all my years of stamping. I haven't collected those, and I love the die cut doves. I will be keeping those forever because I think they're just a great little something to put on the card. I love the peace on earth. Amazing. Okay, so here's what we're going to do to decorate this and finish it off. Hey, Cindy. I love the name Elizabeth too. I know it's a very common name, but I knew that my daughter was going to be called Elizabeth from, I feel like, forever, because I love that name. I love all the nicknames that go with Elizabeth. And my Elizabeth was going to be Beth. That's what she was going to be called. That was her nickname. And everybody calls her Liz. I specifically didn't want Liz, and there's nothing wrong with Liz at all, but that was like, I wanted Beth and not Liz. And when her little brother was born, he kept trying to say, and we really just called her Elizabeth. We didn't give her a nickname. We called her by her full name for a long, long time because it's so beautiful. And and then her little brother kept trying to say Elizabeth, and he would go Wizabeth, and so he just started calling her Wiz, and then she became Liz. And of course, that's what we all call her now, is Liz. I love this sentiment. Big hugs for a good friend. I'm going to add the word sending on top. Thank you, Kathy. After I came across Mimi's card, then I'm like, wait a minute. That's not for Mimi. I got confused because you both used that textured paper. Yes, Kathy. Your jacket card is amazing. I'm in awe of that card. Okay, so I'm just going to put a nice little label right on top. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to let the designer series paper do all the work. I cut out a couple of the greeneries, and we're just going to add those to the back of our label and make it simple. So these are kind of nice. You can kind of just twist these two together a little bit if you want to kind of combine them. And then we're going to stick it on the back here, coming out from the side. And I'm going to use my tear tape just to let it sit down here at the bottom. Okay, and then we'll pop up the rest. This designer series paper is called, sometimes it's the name of the suite and sometimes it's not. It is Peaceful Garden. The bundle is called Peace on Earth. The paper's called Peaceful Garden. Page 33 of the catalog. Okay, so we just want that peeking out a little bit. And I'm going to put so however you attach, you want to make sure it's just attached to one of these strips, one or three of the strips. So we're going to do that. And then we have some beautiful little embellishments we'll add. These are called Hue of Blue flowers. And they really are flowers. They could kind of be stars, but they have the shape of a flower. They have the Secret Sea, Misty Moonlight, blanking on this, what is this color called? Cloud cover, and then white. So let's use the cloud cover. Put one over here. I have a smudge of glue. There we go. This is just a adhesive eraser. You can get it on Amazon. Stampin' Up! Used to carry it a long, long time ago, but it's an artist's tool and it's called an adhesive eraser. So it just kind of rubs off very carefully your adhesive. It's a great thing to have. But we're going to put that right there. Okay, and then of course the back is where you stamp your sentiment. So I'm going to stamp this before I attach it since we have a bulky front. And we're going to make this a sympathy card. I love this greeting that comes in here too. All the best in your new adventure. So that can go with like the heartfelt prayers, peace on earth. I think it's very well designed. Okay, so there is our first triple panel Z fold. Nice and easy. We love the easy fun folds, at least I do. All right, so here is another one using the Christmas Traditions paper, made exactly the same way. Has a very large focal point, but with all the busyness of the colors. I think it works. Got some gold, some shiny gold in there. Okay, message can be on the back. And then here's another Christmas one using the modern Christmas paper. All right, so let's just tweak this a little bit and do a slightly different version. Because that's what we do around here. Okay, we're going to use a pre-made card. So one of the things that you can get in the September to December mini catalog are some pre-made cards. This is page 15. They're just called Christmas Greetings Mix and Match Specialty Cards. They're a little bit larger than a regular invitation size card. They're taller. They're 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So that's the same width, but they're just a little bit taller. So they're nice for some quick, easy cards. It kind of coordinates with this paper, which we're going to use this paper also. And this paper was designed to be quick and easy cards. So you get a bunch of sheets of different designs. There's 4 different double-sided designs. Okay, just fun little focal points or little tags. And then these, you can kind of cut off the strips, use these as card fronts. It's like kind of just a no, you don't have to think too hard. And then on the back are the greens. And so this is garden green and white and soft sea foam. And I thought those colors, and real red, I thought those greens were all really pretty together. And then with each pack, you get 2 sheets. Or maybe 4. Let me read this. And 2 each of the pre-cut designs, yes. So these little punch outs are really fun. So we're going to use this little guy right here. So let me take that. Christmas tags and more. All right, so what you can do with a pre-made card, especially if it's pre-made and it's the same 4 1/4 where the score line is, we're going to just cut off front of the card, make this 7 1/4. So I'm going to measure it 7 1/4. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it around, and you'll notice that the 3-inch score line is already where the score line is. And so we just need to move it back and score at 1 1/2. Okay, so we've got 1 1/2 and 3. And I'm going to make the beautiful part of this be on the inside. So it's going to be behind, but it's going to add a really pretty backdrop. And so I've already created the strips, and I'm going to use just solid colored garden green. I've already scored them. So we're going to just put this all together. Our panels. We're going to do it the same way. We're going to put one on the top, one in the bottom edge, and one right in the middle. There will be a little bit more room because this card is taller than a normal card. So this is a nice to keep in mind. Let's say you like, you get paper pumpkin kits sometime or other kind of kits, and you have some pre-made cards that are beautiful on the front and the back, and you want to just flip that around and showcase everything. Okay, so I'm just eyeballing that to get that even. I'm going to flip this over. Lay it flat. Okay, I'm going to fold that back so I know where to put my adhesive. Hi, Lori. Hi, Gwen. Hey, Karen. Okay. Okay, I have just a little tiny bit of the card showing. So I'm going to trim that before we go any further, just to make this completely even here. All right, so here is our triple Z fold. So you can see because the card is taller, there's more of the inside that shows. And we're going to attach some of that beautiful paper. And it all coordinates so beautifully because of the colors come from the same sweet. This fun fold is so easy. You're going to love it. I'm going to use a different one in the middle. So the size of paper that I'm putting on here is the same from the last card. It's 1 1/4 by 4. And then the smaller squares are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. It's kind of weird how it looks like it's a different size, just because our card is a little bit bigger. All right, so then this piece that I cut off, I'm going to just put it back over here on the end. Or maybe I should cut it into little, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go ahead and cut it into squares because we want to use this. And that'll bring some of the back to the front. And that pretty plaid. Looks like I could have gotten that one even. Almost. Now I have to fix this one. There. Okay. So what we're going to put on the front, I thought it would be fun to just kind of do something really different. And let's do a snowflake. So I already cut a snowflake out of gold foil. So we would bring that out. Let me show you this little bundle. It's got this nice big stamp that can be colored. It's an open image, lots of greetings, and then there's 2 different detailed snowflakes, and then like base snowflakes that you can cut out a double layer, like a matte layer for your snowflake. And this cute little greeting here. So this is pretty delicate. So we're going to attach it this way so that I can get every little point, at least on the outside, attached. I'm going to go back later and I'm going to attach these two, but for right now, I'm going to leave it with just that attachment. I've got some soft sea foam for our greeting. And we'll ink in garden green. Just put a couple of these little snowflakes. I don't automatically think of green when I think of snowflakes, so this card is kind of delightful in that way, in that it is an unusual color combination. I'm just going to stick that. Okay, I just want it over here. Let's look at the top, and there's the inside. Is all nice and plaid. Got our sparkly. And of course, and then you can write on the back, it's already white. But let's add a little bit of bling. I found these garden green embellishments, so I think we'll go ahead and use these. And we'll just add a little green to our, you could do white. Or another gold sparkle, that would look really pretty. Okay, so it's going to be a nice little decoration. Okay, this is another card I just made with some of the other pieces from that paper and just layered together with a label and a greeting. These are the two different patterns that you can get. Both have that gold foil. So I tried one with the brown, and that reminded me of the gingerbread. And so on the crumb cake, I just stamped one of the background images that are words. I'm gonna send this to my cookie baking friend. Forgot I was gonna put this little, I'm gonna just put a little flower here, but I don't know if it needs it. It might be too much. But I just loved how it coordinated, so. Just gonna give it a little. Okay. So this card showcased how you could take a pre-made card and do this fold by just adding some cardstock strips to your pre-made card. All right, so the last card that we're going to do, we're going to also think outside the box. And we're going to do a fall card, but with non-traditional fall paper. I had said that when fall came around, I wanted to make sure to bring the Boho Vibes Designer Series paper back out because of kind of these colors in here just kind of reminded me of a non-conventional fall theme with that Cajun and the mossy meadow. And so I took some of my favorite pieces of the Boho Vibes and pre-cut those. So what's going to be different about this card is we're going to just kind of mess with the ends a little bit. And we're going to make 4 strips instead of 3. So this is technically a quadruple panel Z fold. And the fun thing is that these 2 pieces are the same size. So you're just cutting this 4.5 inch by 7 1/4. You're going to cut it at 1 1/8 inch strips instead of, and you'll get 4 of them instead of cutting 3 1.5 inch. It's like magic. Okay, so these are all going to go this way, and we're going to do it the same way. I think I heard my glue go on the floor. Here it is. So instead of being squares though, because they're smaller, these little sections are now rectangles because the width of this strip is no longer 1.5, it's 1 1/8. So the space in between is 1/4 inch. And so when you get ready to put the 2 in the middle, you want to use your ruler to get 1/4 inch in between each one. I was seeing this design when I was scrolling through Pinterest, and that's how I kind of came across this. And then after I searched for it, I saw that Susan Campfield, Demonstrator, Susan Campfield, she has a couple more versions of this. She does a horizontal version, which is really cool, and I haven't tried that yet. So if you like to collect ideas on Pinterest like I do, go ahead and look at Susan's. All right, so look how it just even kind of, it almost looks like a different size card, right? Here's the first one that has 3 strips, and now this has 4. For some reason, it makes the card look a different size, or eyes. So what we're going to do differently on this one is that we are going to cover this strip here with a piece of Designer Series paper. And so this is 1.5 by 5.5. This just gives it a completely different look. And then the other thing that we're going to do a little differently is we're going to cover all of the strips and not leave any of the cardstock showing. We're going to cover all of the strip instead of leaving a little mat. And so if you do this, these are 2 3/4 by 1 1/8. Okay, so I'm just making sure these are straight. And then we're going to also cover these. And then we're going to put another strip here. So you can just, you'll see how it just kind of gives you another little look. When you cut the designer series paper and when you're covering the whole strip like this, you want to do like a scant cut so that these two pieces, when they meet at this score line here, they have a little bit extra room. So you can measure at 1 1/2, but then just kind of back your paper up a little bit so that it's slightly less. Here it is. So you can really get some different patterns going. I thought for here we would just use our cloud cover and emboss it so we'd get some texture in there too. So I'm using the Gathering Leaves embossing folder. To finish that off. Okay, so this is also 1 1/2 by 5 1/2, just like this one is. Okay, so let's fold all these and we'll see if there's any parts that are too close together. And then we'll do a little trimming. Okay, so I said were you feeling some fall vibes here? Perhaps some non-conventional fall vibes. Let's put this on the back. Okay, so what I thought we would do is combine a couple of our fall sets. Love these pumpkins. Love these little leaves, so I thought we'd put them together. We're going to do our non-traditional colors. So I pulled out the same colors ink that are in the paper. So we've got Petal Pink, Mossy Meadow, Cajun Craze, Daffodil Delight, and our Secret Sea. And I just made some thank you cards with these pumpkins. And I made, I don't know, 75 of them. And I did not get tired of these pumpkins. So let's make a Cajun Craze pumpkin to put on our card here. This is a 2-step stamp, which is my favorite. You get the detail and you've got the solid image. So I'm going to do the detail first with my full strength ink. And then I'm going to take the solid part, which we want a lighter shade, and we'll stamp that on our scratch paper to take off the majority of the ink, and then we'll have just what's left over. Stamp. So now we've got 2 shades. And we need some mossy. I'm going to try to put one element of all the colors. So we've got our little stem in Mossy Meadow. I'm going to do a Secret Sea leaf. And a Daffodil Delight leaf. And a Petal Pink leaf. I love it when you have to have 5 ink pads out at one time. That means you're having fun. Now I already cut all these out, so there's a die that cuts out all of these. Let's see if I can find them, because for some reason when I dumped this, so here's the label I'm using, and here's our leaves. So I need to find the pumpkin. That's what's missing, is the pumpkin. Where did the pumpkin go? Oh, here it is. Here it is. All right, so let's finish this together. We'll put our greeting. And this, I'm taking the greeting from the Beautiful Pumpkins. So grateful to have a friend like you. And I inked and stamped it in the Secret Sea. And then we'll just make a little happy fall arrangement here with our leaves and pumpkin. So now we've got just a cute little, and we're going to put it somewhere where you can see all of our, I think that looks pretty good. So let's pop it up. I'm going to notice where it's touching the strips here. One there. I like that. That makes me pretty happy. So many choices we could use here for embellishments, but I think since we've got cloud cover as our card base, we're going to go with cloud cover. So we'll put one on our pumpkin. Think outside the box, right? Get out some of your paper that you could possibly use for a different occasion, different season. Okay, so here's some other ones that I did that are just a little bit different than the first one. So this is another quadruple, not quadrangle, with the 4 strips. I also discovered if you wanted to make these, so these are 1 1/8 inch. If you wanted to make them 1 1/4 inch, you could still fit 4 on there, and there will only be 1/8 of an inch in between. So there's play, there's playroom, room to play. This one has a design that I kind of kept intact. So think of your scenery paper as well for these strips. You can kind of get a design going in the background. I ran out of time, but I was going to try the Autumn Splendor scenery paper, which is still available, and do one of those lovely little tree scapes. So this is the Peaceful Garden paper again. Just put like this glimmer paper in the front, so it just adds a nice little pop. Again, the embossing folder on the back strip. And then I had so much fun when we worked with this paper a couple weeks ago, and we did another fun fold. So I just kind of used it a little bit differently. So you can see here I covered, this is back to the 3 strips. This is the triple panel. I just covered the entirety of the strips all the way here, the front and the side, but then put black here, and it just gives it another look to it. Just put the little scenery and the die cuts there. And then the last one that I have is using the beautiful Autumn Toile paper, using 4 different patterns. Kind of attaching the die cut a little bit to the strip, a little bit to the focal point. These are very fun. I highly recommend giving them a try. Let's bring them all back, and we'll zoom out and kind of see what we've done with the triple panel fold. So there will be a PDF available with a link in the video that will have all of the measurements for both the triple and the quadruple, so that you can play around with that. Don't forget you can use your pre-made cards as well. Let's see. There we go. I think they all fit almost. Hi, April. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Nydia. I appreciate that, Gwen. Hi, Lena. Hey, Tony. Dawn Stamping Thoughts, making this with DSP strips too. Okay, Mary's saying that, why am I forgetting her last name? Dawn Griffith. She's called Dawn Stamping Thoughts. she also has this. She's making the strips with designer series paper. I was thinking about doing that, but honestly, this fold right here is a little bit flimsy. So I think I noticed it especially on this card where I made the base and the strips out of white cardstock, that I think you'd have to be careful to use the DSP unless there's another way that I'm not thinking of to reinforce it, because you want it to stand up and to be sturdy. All right, I hope that you're going to try one of these. Sarah likes the one with the scenery split up. Thank you, Cindy. Oh, good. Tony's made some before. Good reminder. Dawn's going to try this one. She's never done a fun fold. Oh my goodness. Well, you definitely have to do a plain old Z fold. That is like step 2 after you start stamping this, to make a Z fold card. Thank you, Margie. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out today, learning a little bit about this fun fold and putting together a non-traditional Z fold card with some non-traditional colors for the seasons. And I just appreciate you so very much. I hope that you get out your supplies and stamp no matter what you create, and send those creations in the mail, because that's what it's all about. And you get to have your quality crafting time while you're sending all that love, making all that love to send out. So yeah, appreciate you so much, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.